For decades, the TransBay Terminal sat in a decrepit but used state. But during that time, for the past 20 years, an effort was launched to rebuild the terminal. Today, the terminal and the buildings around it are officially under construction. But you've got to see what's not there anymore. It's right there. That used to be the TransBay Terminal. It's gone. This used to be dark. This is Natoma, and along here was the expanse that was the TransBay Terminal building. It's going to make way for a new structure that's going to be 6 stories tall, and the length of this property from here all the way down there. And at the top of it will be a park, a large urban park. I guess it's in here. Aha, it is in there.
Construction work is well underway, as you can see from the surrounding site. Before I begin, I'd like to thank and acknowledge our congressional delegation that was extremely instrumental that you see here today. I'd like to thank our leader, Nancy Pelosi, Senator Dianne Feinstein, and Senator Barbara Boxer. I would also like to acknowledge and, of course, thank our mayor, Mayor Ed Lee, who is here with us today. Since Mayor Lee's early days in City Hall, he has been a strong supporter of the TransBay project and everything that the TransBay project represents. Housing, improved air quality, the alleviation of congestion, and a better quality of life for all Bay Areans and San Franciscans alike. I would also like to add that since Mayor Lee came to office in January of 2011, we have created over 1,000 jobs for this project. So thank you, Mr. Lee. In addition, I'd like to thank, of course, our board of directors. Jane Kim is here with us today, and you'll be hearing from her shortly. I don't know if Mayor Brown made it today, but he was also going to join us, and I think it's important to acknowledge and thank him because, after all, he started the project many, many years ago. In addition, Senator Byrd, I'd like to acknowledge and thank him as well. He helped us get the land that is now today going to be the site of the new TransBay Transit Center, as well as the new surrounding neighborhood, which is going to be a national model for transit-oriented development. You'll be hearing more about that in a moment, but it's going to include thousands of new residential units. It's going to include parks and open space and shops and retail and restaurants. In addition, I think the men and women that have been working on our construction site, you see some of them here today, the carpenters and others, have been very dedicated and working very hard on the project, and I'd like to thank them for all of their hard work today. I'm thrilled to report that the project is on budget, it is on schedule. And with respect to the demolition, we had over 55,000 hours of labor work completed without any accidents, without any injuries. So thank you guys for such a great job. In addition, we did a great deal of recycling. We recycled over 92,000 cubic yards of concrete. Now that's enough to fill 28 Olympic-sized swimming pools. In addition to that, we recycled 7,200 tons of steel. So we're really doing our job as part of this project. And as many of you know, when the new station opens, it will be LEED Gold certified, which is one of the highest ratings ever given to a transit facility such as this. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our board member, Jane Kim, and District 6 Supervisor.
Thank you so much, Maria, for inviting us to this great event. As the district supervisor for the South Market, I know that my constituents and myself are particularly interested in the impact that this transit center is going to have for District 6 and also for the city of San Francisco and the Bay Area. And I want to recognize our mayor, Mayor Willie Brown, who just arrived. Welcome forward.
window. I got shy.
In many ways, and recognizing those that have worked for decades on this project, I get to come in for the fun part, which is the implementation, to see this transit center move forward over the next several years. And it is truly exciting. Maria pointed out many of the things that will come forward with this, including jobs, something that that our city desperately needs during this time. But two issues that I care very deeply about, which is affordable housing and also pedestrian safety, two issues that our office has been taking on. This project will bring 4,400 new units of housing for the city of San Francisco around a transit center which will host AC Transit, BART, Muni, and hopefully high-speed rail. This is something that we're looking forward to, including 1,200 units of affordable housing. Along with that, we're including many plans for increasing pedestrian safety in the area as well, which is something that has also been a large issue for our district.
I'm so happy to be here, but I got a little nervous when Maria was saying this is LEED Gold, because as soon as she said that, former Mayor Willie Brown was walking in, and I just want to make sure she meant LEED Gold in the design and performance, not gold leaves on the top. We can't afford that. Not on this building. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and thank you for the agencies that are working so well together. And our NTA director here, Fred Blackwell, Jen, Mads, Ken Rich, and especially want to thank John Ram, because the planning department's been really at the bones behind doing all of the planning with the different agencies, the different challenges that are here, because there's a lot of challenges that have been presented by such a wonderful, complex, futuristic, beautiful, beautiful designed building. There's just going to be such a transformation of the whole downtown and community because of this project. But it's also because a transit center to replace what was here was the center in their times of transportation hub for the whole Bay Area when the old terminal was here. And so in the vision of our city, and when Maria took up this job, she knew, because she had worked for a number of different mayors throughout the process, envisioning what this would mean to the future of our city, that we do need a brand new transit center that is not only modern, not only has got all the amenities that you just heard, whether it's housing, office space, and so forth, but that it represents the future of our city, because at the very center of it will be the box for the high-speed rail. That's what we ultimately want to land, to make sure it is the center of hub for the whole of Northern California. That's where that high-speed rail will end, right here at TransBay. It will also represent, as Supervisor Kim knew, 145,000 jobs. You just look at the happy smile carpenter faces around behind you, because they know they got jobs for a long time, and they can afford to live in this very expensive city with these good paying jobs, right? Absolutely. And we have more jobs to come as a result of this. This is part of our economic engine. It is also the story that we will tell as to why the federal government has to, they just have to pass the extension of that transportation authorization plan, because without that, this would be challenged, Doyle Drive will be challenged, the Bay Bridge will be challenged. Every major transportation mode of any significance in the Bay Area would be challenged. We're already hearing from Caltrans about the nervousness that they have if that transportation reauthorization isn't done quickly. So we need that on the national level. And that's why we continue using this as an example of how we as a city have worked together with all of the community-based agencies, all of the city agencies, our friends in labor as well as in business, to promote one of the most beautiful, very, very challenging, complex, but it's going to be a very beautiful addition to the whole downtown skyline and functionality. So today, we're celebrating this milestone where all of the demolition has been completed. That is the finished phase one. And it's been remarkable that not one work-related accident has happened in all of these thousands of hours that have been put together. And by the way, of all the work hours that were mentioned, over 88% of those jobs went to 9 county residents in the Bay Area for these jobs. Where along?
Anywhere.
As big as I want?
As big as you want. Slowly.
Do I leave room for anybody else? What's today's date? Today is
7th of September.
9, 7, 11. How about that?
Nice job.
All right.
Yeah, nice work.
Supervisor?
I have.
Oh, okay.
It's an autograph.
You give it a gold tip pen?
You cheap shot on this. Cheap shot. You know how. You know exactly. You know exactly how.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, am I?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anywhere you'd like, Mr. Mayor.
Anyway.
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Well, that's fine.
Coordinated shoes today?
Absolutely. She called me.
All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you. All right.
All I want to know is why is it Maria is not wearing a hard hat?
That's right. It's
I don't
too
like
hot.
that at all. That's a danger to the project.
Wait, is this
That's
hard?
a danger.
Is that a hard hat right there? Is that a hard hat?
That's a hard hat.
That's a hard
At least
hat?
it's a hard hit.
Let's go with the company.
Mayor Lee, I have the original plans for this going all the way back to when I worked for L.U. Harris. A little around the time after I met you. I never thought this was going to be a reality. What did you think at the time this was first proposed? When did you first hear about this project?
Oh gosh, I've heard about it for all the time that I've been working for the city for 22 years, to be quite candid with you. Especially when I was at DPW.
Right.
And when
right.
I had to clean up, and both mayors Willie Brown and Gavin Newsom sent me down here to clean up the TransBay hub here because there was a lot of trash around it. People felt unsafe, and I was so happy to see it come down because that marked the real big phase of construction here. So now to see these plans come to life, to see them putting in the
Something else,
I-beams,
isn't it?
it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And then there's jobs behind this for everybody. Residents in San Francisco will get these jobs. Already 13% of the jobs that are done here for demolition were San Francisco residents. So that's a wonderful thing. There's more to come. More to
Hey,
come.
thanks a lot, man.
Thank
You really spearheaded this effort years ago. I still have the original plan way
yeah.
back when I worked for the city of Oakland.
I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
Really proud of it, and I'm proud of the way Maria is doing it. I recruited Maria.
I remember that. Right, absolutely.
And so all of this is just coming together for the city.
Was there ever
And
a
it's fun.
time you didn't think this was going to happen?
Oh, no. I knew it had to happen. There was no way that TransBay facility, which no longer housed the key system,
right.
the old trains that used to come, which no longer operated as a bus station as it once originally did. It had really fallen on very hard times. And even the municipal transportation system did not use it extensively. So it was just a matter of time before it would go by the wayside. The question, though, was whether or not you could really put something together that made sense from a in perpetuity standpoint from 100 years from now. And obviously what made sense was it to be the transit end point for the beginning point in Southern California or the beginning point for the end point in Southern
Take
California.
us back from when did this first start as an idea?
It preceded me. I started as mayor in 1995, well, I got elected, and there was already conversations about the potential, but the 4-block corridor was accumulated and acquired in the subsequent years, not the previous years.
Economically speaking, this comes in a really interesting time with the unemployment and what we're going through. It brings in a lot of jobs.
There's no question, and I have actually recommended to the Obama administration that they really ought to use this project as an example of what actually can be done. So when the Tea Party folk claim that you can't have public creating jobs, that government can't create jobs. Every one of those carpenters over there, all of these hard hat guys running this incredible equipment, the guys that are going to drive all these pylons, all will tell you over the next several years it can be the difference between their survival and non-survival, and it's a contribution, not just a public works project.
District Supervisor Jane Kim, thank you for your time. The project is going to employ a lot of people. Tell our viewers about it, basically.
Yeah, this project over the next 20 years is going to create 145,000 jobs for the city and the Bay Area. And during times like this, I think it's important. But the greatest thing about investing in this type of infrastructure is that the research shows that investing in transit, investing in open space is actually the drivers of job creation. It's what attracts jobs to cities. If you have strong public transit, if you have great open space, you have great schools, companies will want to move to this area. So I think we're going to see long-term production from the creation of the center for the city of San Francisco.
And the money for it will actually come from the buildings itself, right? Kind of an improvement district in a sense, right?
Yeah, no, this will be, well, redevelopment is up in the air.
Right.
But the idea
Gotta
was
save
using...
redevelopment, so I can say that as a blogger. You gotta save it.
I'm supporting redevelopment. I mean, using tax increment as a tool to build affordable housing and public transit is so important. We just don't have money. We don't have dollars to fund this kind of infrastructure.
If anyone watching this has any questions for your office, how can they contact you?
They can contact my office by calling 415-554-7970 or emailing me at jane.kim@sfgov.org.
Thank you so much. We're with Maria Yardi, Director of the TransBay Joint Powers Authority. It looks like you want somebody you want to bring into the fold, or? Okay, all right. Okay, cool. How does it feel to get to a moment in time that I have to be honest with you, decades ago I thought was just a dream?
It's a great feeling. In particular, seeing so many people working here and people that previously didn't have work now have work, so it's a great feeling.
Where are we going to be 5, 10 years from now?
2017, Phase 1 will open, and you'll start seeing the start of the construction of many of the new high-rises.
And when is that giant obelisk 1,000-foot skyscraper going to be done?
Well, hopefully around the time the new Phase 1 station is done.
And funding, all from the office building and structures around
Some of it will come from the office building development. Funding will come to the TransBay project, yes.
And obviously this is a great example of how redevelopment can work.
Yes.
If we can say redevelopment, right?
Absolutely.
That's sort of a feeder question for you, because I'm a fan of redevelopment.
Absolutely.
So what do we say? Say it to the camera now to people watching. Why should we say redevelopment?
Well, this is a redevelopment project. It's a 40-acre redevelopment project, and redevelopment is what we use to help build the project. And it can be used to build infrastructure that's badly needed in the country, and that's what it's doing for our project.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
John Ram, you're the planning director for the City and County of San Francisco.
That's correct.
Latest in a long line of great planning directors, going all the way back to Alan Jacobs, Dean Mackers.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Tell my viewers about the plan for the area.
Well, the plan that we're putting forward that is in its final stages is a plan to create a very high-density, sustainable district that takes advantage of the big public investment in the transit center. So it will allow for additional zoning, additional height and density for housing, for office, but just as importantly, we'll create new open spaces, wider sidewalks, a higher quality, more safe pedestrian environment as well, so that people can get to and from the transit center itself in a safer, more convenient way.
Will the densities be changed to allow higher? Was that an issue, or was that a thing?
Well, we're looking at that right now. We think if there's any place in the city, in fact, this is the place in the city to look at increased height and density, to have that density near the transit center, where people can conveniently get back and forth without driving.
Hey, I know you're on a time schedule. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Today was the introduction of the area plan. Where I'm standing was the terminal, where these functions are over here. That was the terminal. Right here is a Temple nightclub, also in the 80s known as DV8. I have a lot of fond memories from this place. It's weird to stand here in the middle of history unfolding. The centerpiece 1,000-foot tower I'll be right here. Right there.